On the 15th of September 1939, Menzies announced the formation of the 2nd Australian Imperial Force, AIF. This expeditionary force initially consisted of 20,000 men organised into an infantry division and auxiliary units. The AIF was institutionally separate from the CMF, which was legally restricted to service in Australia and its external territories, and was formed by raising new units rather than transferring CMF units. On the 15th of November, Menzies announced the reintroduction of conscription for Home Defence Service, effective 1 January 1940.
Although Oikawa is much too young to have been directly affected by the expulsion of the Japanese Canadians from the Pacific coast, her anger at the treatment they endured during and immediately after the Second World War is apparent in the very use of the word violence in the title. Calling them euphemisms, she rejects such terms as interior housing centers and sugar beet projects.
In February 2016, as infection moved rapidly through the range occupied by Aedes mosquitoes in the Americas, WHO declared that Zika infection associated with microcephaly and other neurological disorders constituted a public health emergency of international concern. By the start of February 2016, local transmission of Zika infection had been reported from more than 20 countries and territories in the Americas, and an outbreak numbering thousands of cases was underway in Cabo Verde in Western Africa. I love genre. I like watching it, and I like reading it, and I like working within it. From the point of view of work, I think genre's a kind of free gift. It gives you all sorts of things you can subvert. And if you're unsure about where you're going with something, genre will tell you where to go, and if nothing else, what genre can do is it can provide you with a structure. I think that you then are likely to end up subverting it, really just to keep yourself entertained, because otherwise, you will just be retreading stuff that other people have done a lot before, and probably more successfully than you're doing, as well. But personally I think that one of the big tricks to writing is to keep yourself from getting bored, to keep yourself motivated and interested. So you have to move away just to keep yourself entertained, keep yourself fired up about it in some kind of way. However simple or complex the chain of events in any given situation, when looked into it usually reveals a train of causal relationships. They are seen to be linked in some way. The methods of analysis aim to establish these relationships and provide a solid background for useful generalizations based on what at first appear to be separate events. The first step in this process is to collect facts and then see if any particular patterns emerge. If they do, it then becomes possible to form theories related to the facts, and this type of empirical theory forms a useful basis for analysis and prediction. However, on its own this theory is not enough. The essential second step is to test it by collecting more facts and by checking predictions against events. These new facts may mean you have to modify the theory, bearing in mind that new facts can only either disprove or support a theory, they cannot prove it to be right.
When the Tottenham riots broke out, a politician commented, "This is criminality, pure and simple." To paraphrase Oscar Wilde, the riots were not very pure and the causes were not simple. It was clear, though, that social deprivation was among the causes. The Guardian newspaper reported that of 1,000 rioters going through the courts, fewer than 9% had a job or were in training.
The World Health Organization has been working with ministries of health and other stakeholders of Pacific Island countries to build climate-resilient health systems. Although a disease-specific approach is useful initially, in the long run a comprehensive intersectoral program is required. As recommended by WHO, this program should address health governance and policies tackling climate risks, 2. Health information, integrated surveillance and climate early warning systems, and 3. Preventive and curative services. Welcome to Takeaway Science, another in the series of short podcasts produced by Blast at the Open University. Now be warned, there is more than a hint of chemistry in the 3 sequences that make up this particular podcast. Later on, we will catch up with Ian Baines, a student studying molecular sciences with the Open University. Then OU chemistry professor, Peter Taylor, gets to tell us about his involvement with OU science broadcasting on the BBC. But first of all, I am going to talk with another OU chemistry academic, Dr. Sotiris Misailidis, about his research into cancer, but I started off by asking Sotiris what his research involved.
We don't have any databases on this sort of information. As well as that, these records of sound levels take no account of the fact that people vary in their perceptions of noise, so someone like me with years of working in acoustics might be very different from you in that regard. But anyway, even though these noise maps are fairly crude, they've been useful in providing information and raising awareness that noise matters. We need to deal with it, and so it's a political matter. And that's important. We need rules and regulations because noise can cause all sort of problems. Those of you who are city dwellers know that things go on 24 hours a day. Land reclamation has been carried out along the coast of Tokyo Bay since the Meiji period. Areas along the shore with a depth of fewer than 5 meters are simplest to carry out landfills, and sand from the floor of Tokyo Bay is used for these projects. The topography of the shoreline of Tokyo Bay differs greatly from that of the pre-modern period due to ongoing land reclamation projects. Tokyo Bay includes about 249 square kilometers of reclaimed land area in 2012. Aggregate household waste production is enormous in Greater Tokyo. There is little room for traditional garbage disposal sites. Waste is rigorously